Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahabushai, Bahasham, Barakahak Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahabushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule and teach well. And peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Ra'aya coming at you with another lesson, and I'm going to start it off in Mark chapter 3, verses 24 to 25. And it's in red letters if you're looking at it in the KJV, which means that it's Yahushai, the Son of the Most High, whom the world ignorantly refers to as so-called Jesus speaking. And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And when you look at the majority of these major empires throughout human history, how did they, ultimately they collapsed by being taken over. But what, led to them being weakened enough to be taken over? Internal divisions. A kingdom divided against itself cannot stand. And right now, we're seeing the kingdom of the United States of America divided heavily internally between those, on the left and on the right, liberal versus conservative, and pretty much any issue an American can be divided on, they are heavily divided on it. And, with this recent presidential election, that's just further, driven the divisions between these Americans. But hey, the division is going to go much deeper going forward because, as we're about to see in this article from rawstory.com, a lot of Trump's supporters, these MAGA Republicans, hey, they're starting to wake up to the fact that Donald Trump didn't have your best interest at heart. He's doing the rug pull on you and going back on a lot of things he promised you because to the average American citizen, these political figures on either side don't give a damn about you. They, ultimately take orders from their masters, the hidden hand, the elite. They like to call it the deep state, but it's really, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, and these other, elite families out here. And their agenda isn't to make America great again. Their agenda is that NW0, that great RESET, the fourth industrial revolution. And going forward, hey, you Trump supporters are going to see more and more, that fact. And really, to all of you, your votes never mattered and never will matter. And that is going to further lead to this kingdom being divided and this house or the race of the Edomites or so-called white people in America being divided against each other. And it will go from throwing words at each other to eventually throwing lead at each other on the streets of the United States. This is Isaiah chapter 19, verse 2. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, spiritual Egypt as pursuant to Revelation 11, verse 8, the United States of America. So I will set the Americans against the Americans, chiefly these American Edomites, and they shall fight, not talk, everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor, city against city and kingdom against kingdom. Now let's read about some more cracks in the wall of America leading to this division. And the title of this article on rawstory.com is, "Are You Selling Us Out? Trump's New Comments Met with Immediate Backlash from MAGA Base." Donald Trump on Saturday was hit with outrage from his own base after the president-elect sided with billionaire Elon Musk over other MAGA personalities. Laura Loomer is among those far-right influencers who have picked a fight with Musk over certain immigration visas, which he says are necessary for him and other executives to conduct their regular business. Other Trump supporters argued that big business should instead rely upon talented workers from the United States. After days of infighting among MAGA and GOP personalities, Trump finally took a side on Saturday, agreeing with Musk's stance. And, a lot of people are pissed off with Elon Musk. A lot of people are making insinuations that he's the real president behind the scenes. On my job, there were two Edomites talking about, that possible government shutdown that passed. And one guy was a government, worker. So he was talking about, man, I'm gonna lose, my money that I receive, from the government. And it's all because of, Elon Musk. What's his issue? He's not even an American born citizen, but he's he's acting like the president instead of Trump. So hey, these divisions are out here amongst the house of Esau. Trump didn't post about the subject on social media, instead releasing a statement through a conservative outlet. But on Trump's other Truth Social posts, there's a flood of his own supporters complaining about his latest pro-immigration take. And, you can find clips of Trump recently saying, look, we need migration in this country. Of course, legal migration, but we need migrants to fill these jobs out here. Hey, so much for America first. Several of those comments appear on a simple photograph of Trump, which Trump himself posted without any comment round the time the statement was released. Raheem Kassem, editor-in-chief of the National Post, said, denounce mass migration of H-1Bs. A Truth Social user by the name of Joseph, who is known as @RealConservative and proudly boasts he has never voted for a Democrat, said, hashtag H-1B visa kills American jobs. Put America first as promised, or MAGA will be destroyed. Labor shortage in tech industry is a big lie. Don't listen to effing Elon, the user added. A user who claims to have voted for Trump, Aeronominous, also weighed in. Clarify your position on this now. Are you selling us out to big tech, or are you America first? Buy American, hire American. Remember, the user wrote. And, these elites of these Edomites don't give a damn about you lower class and middle class Edomites. You've always been a means to an end to them. They used you to what? Fight in these wars, take people's lands and, do the groundwork for them. And now that you've, used up all your usefulness, they've got no problems using migrants and people from other countries to fill those roles, as well as creating these robots and other technology to replace you. I'm going to go to Isaiah chapter 14. I'm going to start at verse 4, read to 5, and jump down. That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon. And America is also known as Babylon the Great, Mystery Babylon, that virgin daughter of Babylon in the scriptures as well. And the king of Babylon is ultimately the elites. And say, how hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. Because these elites have used America as muscle to, push their agendas onto the rest of the world. And America is ultimately going to be destroyed by nuclear missiles. Yahweh hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. You Edomites, from the top all the way to the bottom, being taken out of power. And you Edomites are the wicked, according to the scriptures. The border of wickedness in Malachi 1 verse 4, and the wicked whom the earth has been given into the hands of in Job chapter 9 verse 24. But now I'm going to jump down to verse 20. Thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because in the kingdom of heaven, under the children of Israel, who are known as the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, all the heathens are going into hardcore slavery for the first 1,000 years, building it up. But after that first 1,000 years, the other heathens will be allowed to go back to their lands, and they're going to live at peace under the rulership of the Israelites. But as for you Edomites, after that first 1,000 years, your entire nation is going to be gathered up and culled from this planet by fire. Read the book of Obadiah, specifically verse 18. Thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land, and you pollute your own environment in your countries that you live in, and slain thy people, and you destroy your own people, sending them off to these wars, these modern wars and shit. World War I and World War II, which was a lot of Edomite on Edomite violence, and fought all throughout Europe, and the land of Europe was destroyed during the war. And now you're slaying your people economically. As we're reading through that article, Trump was on a America First kick, but what? The people in his cabinet are talking about bringing in migrants to take jobs, lucrative jobs away from Americans. The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned. And you're in a lofty position right now, but in the kingdom, you're going to go to where you always belong to be, as the ultimate nobody. Before the Rothschilds changed their name to Rothschild, they were known as the Bowers, which meant a peasant, a low person. Another user who identifies as a longtime Trump supporter, Yaner, said, I work in the tech industry and have seen the abuse of H-1B. An MSB company I worked for merged with another. They kept everyone for about a year and everything seemed good at first and promised people raises. That never happened. They wrote on Saturday, then they put everyone on worse insurance plans and stopped matching 401k. Finally, they started bringing in H-1Bs and let all the long-term employees go after we trained our replacements. They were not better skilled. Back in Isaiah 14, for thou hast slain thy people. Another Trump supporter, Andrew Graff, who has a photo of Trump hugging a flag for a profile, simply said, abolish H-1B. Sit with that article. But hey, this is just another example of a kingdom and a house being divided. And it's eventually going to go from words and going back and forth to bullets and fighting back and forth. And, these Edomites are getting to the point to where they're not going to regard what you politicians or those in the government or so-called authorities have to say. Close it out in 2 Esdras chapter 15 in the Apocrypha. I'm going to start at verse 15. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another. And that can go into class warfare, race warfare, political warfare, you name it. And one people shall stand up and fight against another. Divisions, civil unrest, and swords in their hands. And the modern day sword is that gun. For there shall be sedition among men. And the definition for sedition means conduct or speech inciting open rebellion against a ruling authority or monarch, and invading one another, going from talking to walking. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. And your modern day kings and princes are these people in the government. The mayor, the senator, the governor, the president, as well as the authorities like the military or the police that uphold the system. A badge, a suit and tie, or uniform isn't going to matter, when the days we're coming into. And the course of their actions shall stand in their power. People are going to get it how they live out here. But that's it with this video. With this video, I hope your sincere Akim and Akwath were edified. Just keep strong. We are almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathen nations, chiefly of the Edomites. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babal, Kwam Yasharella, and until next time, Shalom.